everyone, and welcome to today's Wild Rift video. A lot of you previously enjoyed my more analytical approach to videos where I spoke about minion management and wave control, and I'm going to carry on that sort of content with this video as well, where I'm going to be talking about playing support and playing enchanter supports more aggressively, someone like Lulu. And of course, if you enjoyed the content on this channel, make sure you like the video and subscribe, and let's head straight into it. So with Lulu, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about how you can play Lulu more aggressively and be more impactful when it comes to the laning phase and also team fights. I think a lot of people do play Lulu very passively and just enchanter supports in general very passively. Every time I get an enchanter support, they're always standing behind me. They're always trying to heal and shield me, which is your approach when it comes to team fights, but during laning phase you can make a lot bigger impact than what you think you actually can. And in general, I don't normally play support too much in Wild Rift. I normally play AD carry, but I do have a lot of experience from PC League of Legends with support. I was a support main in PC League of Legends for a few years, and I reached Diamond 3 as my peak, so I do have quite a bit of experience from that. So before we get into the gameplay, I just want to quickly show you my build as well and quickly break it down. And the pen is back. A lot of you enjoyed the pen the last time, so the EpiPen is back, and we'll be using that again during the video. But in general, I don't think there'll be any surprises here. Ancient Coin is no surprise for a support item. It's just a very passive support item, gives you ability haste and a bit of health. Lucidity Boots is the best option now for any enchanter support because it gives you the mana regeneration, but also gives you a crazy amount of ability haste. You've got ability haste from this, and I'm pretty sure one of these two items also give ability haste as well. So there's a lot of ability haste that you can get in this build to be able to heal and shield more often. Honor Sensor is normally going to be your first choice for a support item. This is really good with attack speed. ADCs like Tristana, for example, who you can see here. Tristana is my AD carry this game, so I'd definitely be going Ardent Sensor as my first item. And then we want to go for items like Harmonic, which is still a very strong support item, just gives you more healing and shielding. And then you have Redemption and Protector's Vow, which is usually going to be used with someone like Lulu who wants to stick close to the AD carry. You know, Redemption for the healing over time, and then also Protector's Vow for the shield. Summon area I don't think is going to be a surprise as well, just more shielding towards yourself and also a bit of poke damage if you want to try and poke enemy champions, but this is mainly used to try and get a bit of extra shielding. Font of Life, if you do hit your first ability during the laning phase, which you'll see a lot during this gameplay, your AD carry can follow up afterwards and you can both get a bit of healing, which is nice. Bone Plating to help you with trades during the laning phase, but also to help you in team fights with surviving any sort of burst damage. Revitalize for the extra healing and shielding effect, and Transcendence for even more ability haste with summon spells like Flash and Heal to try and keep yourself alive. So that's just a basic rundown of the build and the runes and everything that we'll be running in today's video. But like I said, in general, we're going to be talking about support and just enchanter gameplay in general. As I mentioned, you know, during the laning phase, a lot of people like to play very passive, stay behind their AD carry and kind of just heal them and let them do all the work. But actually, as an AD carry and as for a player that has played PC League for many years, not a lot of AD carries actually like this. They like it when supports are very aggressive and you take control of the lane. I think that's a very underrated statement, you know, taking control of the lane, taking control of the bushes as well, especially in, you know, in the bot lane, you have them two bushes. You want to try and take control of both of them bushes, because if you do need to roam, say, towards like the first objective or Scuttle Crab, for example, if you don't want to head towards any of them, then you can do as well. Let me just quickly turn up the volume. If you want to try and rotate, then you're going to be the first person and you're going to be there to take your advantage. Now, this game we are against Lucian Nami, which is a very scary and a very aggressive combo. So we do need to be a little bit careful in this lane, because if Lucian dashes forward, if, you know, Nami puts her third ability onto Lucian, then, you know, you could do a crazy amount of damage. So let's see how this laning phase plays out. Now, I always like to start the third ability with Lulu. Now, what I do with Lulu is I step up with Lulu and I shield myself. This is something that I never see any Lulu players do. But if you step up and shield yourself, you can actually use your auto attacks and use your other abilities to do a bunch of damage. Or you could do something like that, where you walk up and you try and use your third ability for a little bit of poke. And sometimes this actually gets paired with the domination tree, where you can go for something like empowered attack and also scorch. So you can shield yourself, proc the empowered attack to do a little bit of extra damage, and then be able to proc Scorch as well at the same time to do a little bit of extra damage. So that in itself can be very, very useful. You can see here that I'm looking to step up. I'm looking to trade with my shield as well. Fortunately, I get proc with empowerment, but honestly, that's not a bad trade overall. I do lose a little bit of HP, but Tristana was able to trade to the Nami overall. Now, when I trade like this and when I walk up and try and auto attack and try and trade against Lucian, I'm hoping that my Tristana follows up as well and understands what I want to try and do here. If I try and walk up and if I try and, you know, take trades against Nami and against Lucian, you're seeing every single time I'm walking up trying to take trades and I'm shielding myself every time, so I try and at least go even or try and win the trade. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. Again, shielding myself against the Lucian Q. And what this does, this gives your AD carry a lot more room to be able to farm and a lot more space and a lot more freedom in the laning phase. Because if I'm sitting behind Tristana here, Tristana is just going to be put under a lot of threat. Now, I do get a really bad trade here, to be fair. I actually have to heal to keep myself alive, which is a bit unfortunate. For some reason, my Tristana keeps focusing the Nami, which when Lucian steps up there, I really feel like you could maybe try and focus on the Lucian instead of the Nami. You can see here I flash, I use my polymorph on the Lucian. Luckily Tristana did get the little bit of a reset as well by auto attacking the Nami before Talon taking the kill. And that's what we like to call as the support a kill secure. The Q coming on through to get the kill secure as well was very, very nice. But that little flash was so satisfying and so nice to be able to do. The flash shield to save the Lulu and the polymorph as well. I think a lot of people actually underrate how much power polymorph gives you, because polymorph, which is the second ability for those of you who don't know, a lot of people like to use this on cooldown. I play with you know, supports all the time, and when I get paired with a Lulu, they always like to use their second ability, where it's like, okay, Tristana, you can walk up here, I'm just going to randomly use my second ability in that now. So the second ability has like a 10-second cooldown. Using the shield is fine because your shield has a lower cooldown. I actually messed up here and I walked up when I didn't have my shield available, which was really, really bad. That was a pretty bad trade, but you can see that Tristana still traded back to Lucian, so it wasn't that bad. I also have my ulti as well, so we can try and look to play a little bit aggressive here with the ultimate. Shielding Tristana, hoping that she can walk up. But yeah, a lot of people just use their second ability. It's like people would use it now, for example, right? People would use it now, use the second ability and just be like, okay, Tristana, get the movement speed, get the attack speed that you want to try and clear the wave or something. But I like to save my second ability as a polymorph instead. You can see that every single time I'm using my second ability, I'm using it as a polymorph, which is, in my opinion, a lot more powerful than using it as a shielding or a movement speed effect. You see here, the polymorph, the shield, to keep the Tristana alive again. People underestimate how OP polymorph is in Wild Rift. Like, the enemy turning into a little sheep. They can't auto attack, they can't use any skills, they can't flash away. They're basically completely immobilized. They cannot do anything at all. I'll try and use the polymorph here, so then the Morgana can't use her black shield to try and block any of the skills. Unfortunately, we couldn't kill her though, but again, another instance there. Some people might use the second ability where it's like, okay, Talon, run in. I'm going to boost you up with my second ability. No, you want to use and save your second ability to try and use it as a polymorph instead. Such an impactful tool that you can have with Lulu, which, like I said, a lot of people just don't do. So overall, not too bad. I mean, I think I messed up a few of the trades. I think in general, you kind of want to wait for your trades. Make sure you have things like bone plating up and available, your third ability up and available to shield yourself now as well. But we already got a lot of kills. Talon was able to roam bot lane and get us a lot of kills. You see, I don't mind using my third ability to shield Tristana, because it gives her the extra shielding and it gives her a little bit of extra tankiness when it comes to trying to block minions and everything as well. I'm using my second ability here to get vision. There's another reason to use your second ability, is that it gives vision over walls as well. It also can give you vision in like bushes or really anywhere else that you want to try and get vision. You see here, me and Tristana are just trying to push this wave. I'm pinging on my way because I want to try and rotate. Tristana for some reason is unfortunately not rotating as well, but I think that's completely fine that Tristana's not rotating. She's just she's getting tower plates in the bot lane, which is fine. So we get a lot of tower plates bot lane, we get a lot of tower plates mid lane as well. I think if the Tristana roamed, then we could have got a few more kills, but I don't mind Tristana staying in lane here. I'm just going to look to try and roam and just help the Ahri in mid lane, just try and clear out some of these waves and make sure Ahri doesn't get caught at all. I don't mind Lulu staying bot lane here. I think it's fine that she gets, what's that, 3 tower platings nearly, so she gets a lot of solar gold for herself. Yeah, it's completely fine. I think I needed to definitely roam there because the Nami was mid and Ahri was put under a lot of pressure. Me and Tristana definitely want to try and reset here. You can see that we're trying to push the wave. I'm going to try and reset. I need 180 gold, so I actually want to kind of stay for one more wave if I can. I probably should have just gone back here anyway, but I wanted to stay to try and get my Ardent finished off and trying to get it complete, but I think it's kind of greedy here for me to stay. I should have reset the same time as the Tristana, because now the problem is that me and Tristana have like different back timings, which is really sad. I have a Polymorph there onto Lucian, force out the bubble and force out their other abilities as well on cooldown. And I have my fruit to fall back on, which is not bad. I was hoping that Tristana could maybe jump in and try and trade a little, but I think I went a little bit too early. But you see here now what I'm talking about, where I didn't back the same time as Tristana. So now we have different back times. So now Tristana is alone in lane, and Tristana might be put under threat of trying to, you know, potentially get dove by, there you go, like Lucian army like this. This is my mistake. This is, I should not be going back at different times to Tristana. I should be like, okay, I'll stay in lane until Tristana comes, you know, Tristana gets another reset timer or something. So that was my fault. Tristana could have easily died there and it would have been my fault in the end, because it would have been Tristana getting caught 1 versus 2 and me not being able to do anything about it, unfortunately. I made a little bit greedy here, trying to auto attack this. I mean, this is really greedy from me. Not too sure what Nami was doing there. The flash ulti into the bubble completely missed, but I think that's fine. There's a Gragas here though. I'm going to use the Polymorph to try and stop the Gragas. This is so unlucky, by the way. I think I'm so unlucky here. The Polymorph was great. The Tristana ulti was also great, but I think it was just really unlucky that Gragas ulti came up and just activated just before Tristana's ulti, so the ulti still went through. Also, I think I used my E on someone else because I was targeting someone else instead of using it on myself. So a little bit of a mistake there, unfortunately, but I think that's fine. I just need to get back to lane as soon as possible to try and protect the Tristana. You see, I'm going for the Veil enchant. Normally for boost enchant, you want to go for the Veil enchant, especially for someone like Nami. I need Tristana to jump in here. It's too late now. Tristana needed to jump in here. Tristana needed to jump in here to play more aggressive and bait out the Talon, but didn't happen in the end. But that's completely fine. We can try and pressure this tower, maybe look for a tower dive onto this Lucian. You can see again, I'm using the Polymorph. I'm trying to aggro onto the tower. Use the ultimate, not mainly to keep Talon alive, but for the knock-up as well. Again, the aggressive style that I talk about with Lulu. Using your Polymorph aggressively so someone can't use their abilities, and using your ulti aggressively as well. A lot of people with Lulu like wait until someone is 1 HP and then uses the ulti. But people forget that you want to use your ulti, and when you use your ulti, you're giving extra HP over to your ally. That's again unfortunate death. I probably should have reset a little bit earlier, but it's a little bit unfortunate. Yeah, people forget that the ulti gives your team additional HP. It doesn't heal them or anything. It gives them additional HP. So even if you use your ultimate early, more aggressively to try and knock up enemy champions, like that scenario, you know, knocking up the Lucian, making sure that he can't escape. That's a great way to use Lulu ulti. And again, it's that aggressive playstyle that I kind of wanted to talk to you about. Again, I've maybe died a few times, and maybe if I didn't play as aggressive, I probably wouldn't have died 2 times, but it's that aggressive playstyle that allows my jungler to come to my lane. It allows us to make plays, go for tower dives as well, which is, you know, really important. I think playing aggressive is very important, because sometimes if you just sit back and scale, which you can do in Wild Rift. I mean, there are multiple scenarios which that's a possibility where you can just sit back, farm up, and then Tristana Lulu just scale into late game and you'll be completely fine. But sometimes you want to play aggressively. Sometimes you want to try and be the one to make the plays. Like, I love playing tank supports like Thresh and Nautilus, for example. You know, these type of supports that can make plays is so important. I'm using my second ability here to try and walk up to try and get a slow or deal some extra damage. I use that. So I don't know, man. I feel like I'm so unlucky in some of these games. I mean, I don't know what Morgana's doing. I'm just dodging everything at this point. I Veil Enchant my Tristana because I thought the Gragas was going to focus on Tristana. But the Gragas auto attacks me instead. And they use everything on me. They use Morgana Flash. They use absolutely everything on me. So unfortunately, I don't have the Veil Enchant anymore to try and save the Tristana. But it's still fine. It's still all good. I want to try and keep this mid lane priority as well. I'm using my second ability here on Tristana just to try and get as much damage down as possible. We really need to try and take this mid lane tower. Oh, there you go. Mid lane tower destroyed. As soon as I say that, the mid lane tower is destroyed. This is kind of what I was talking about in my previous video as well. A lot of people were kind of questioning why you would rotate from your dragon lane to mid lane. And this is exactly why. As an example, you can see that the enemy bot lane is just not pushing in at all. This bot lane is just, I mean, Lucian's here now, but no one was pushing in this bot lane. Us as a dual lane staying in this bot lane is completely pointless because say we push up to here, right? We could be ganked from here. We could be ganked from here, from here. There are so many ways in which we can get ganked from that it's much better for us to rotate mid. And what you get is what you know, League of Legends people call mid lane priority. Mid lane priority is so important in Wild Rift because it gives you the ability to try and rotate to other lanes, to try and make plays around the map, or maybe even try and take you know, another tower, for example, in the mid lane. You getting that mid lane priority means that the rest of your team is going to have a much easier time. Like, for example, here, right? We did lose a bot lane tower. That's fine. I think losing a bot lane tower here is completely fine. We got 2 towers in mid lane with me and Tristana being here. And this just opens the map up so much more. It allows us to make plays, you know, engage through the enemy jungle, try and go for dives, try and dive into the enemy backline. There are so many ways in which opening up the mid lane just opens up more opportunities for you to try and make plays, and it allows us to play this aggressive. You can see how aggressive me and Tristana and our entire team is playing. We wouldn't be able to step up this far if we didn't have, you know, the mid lane, 2 mid lane towers taken down. We're trying to take this Baron. I'm not too sure why Tristana started to auto attack this, because Talon's not here, but Talon does come in the end as well. You can see how I'm trying to zone away the enemy champions. I'm trying to polymorph them. For some reason, Malphite walks into the polymorph, which I'll take. It means that he doesn't ulti in the end. I polymorphed the Malphite as soon as he jumps in. As soon as he jumps in, the polymorph comes on through, and most of his damage is gone. He's not going to do enough burst damage when I have ulti with just Malphite's ultimate. So really nice timing there. And again, you know, us rotating to mid lane just gave us so much more power. I'm trying to push in this mid lane because it's kind of annoying that this mid lane is just sitting there, but my team wants to go for more kills. Sometimes Wild Rift players are like that. They just get very, very greedy and they just want to keep diving and diving, engaging. They just never stop. Like, look at this Sion, for example. This guy is not stopping. He just keeps going in. I do have a lot of heals and shields though, so it should be okay. They do not stop. I need to ulti my need to ulti my Ahri here to make sure the Ahri doesn't die. My life? Veil Enchant? Okay, well, they couldn't they couldn't kill me, I guess. Bit unlucky. Bit unlucky for them, but they weren't able to kill me in the end, so overall pretty nice. You can see in these fights I'm definitely trying to play a lot more passive in these fights, because when it gets to the middle late game, you do want to play more passive with Lulu. You do want to stand behind your team, because that's the point of the game where players start to get some items. They start to get a bit of damage. If I step up too far, I'm just going to get bursted. I'm one shot by Gragas. So in later phase it's fine, because in later phase you can try and make like short exchanges, short trades. When it comes to team fights, it becomes a little bit harder, because if you step up too far, you get hit by a Gragas combo and then you're just going to be completely dead. And you need to be very, very careful. Like here, I could have easily gotten ultied here by Malphite and probably died from it. I'm trying my best to heal and shield the Sion as much as I can, and also the Ahri, but not enough. We get the bot lane tower, we get the mid lane tower, and we get the top lane tower. At this point, once you get 3 inhibitors, the game's pretty much over. There's not really much that the enemy can do. 3 inhibitors down, it makes it very, very difficult when you've got so many super minions and everyone coming in as well to try and stop them. Polymorph the Lucian here. I try and save my Ahri, but unfortunately it's not enough. You can see again, I'm focusing my W every single time. I didn't do it that time, which was actually a huge mistake. most of the time, I should say, I focus my W on trying to use it more for Polymorph rather than the movement speed, which, again, not a lot of people do on Lulu. I tried to do it there. I tried to save my my Ari by polymorphing as well. Not too sure why I went for Staff in this game. Yeah, I kind of just tunnel vision towards Staff. It's not that bad if I want to try and shield like Ari, I guess, but other than that, it's not really that good to get Staff this game. I probably should have gone for Redemption or Protector's Vow instead. Protector's Vow would have been pretty good this game. Helps me survive against, like, you know, Lucian, or I just go for Redemption for the extra healing, but in general, it's not that bad. So our late game purpose here is kind of waiting for this Baron buff to spawn. You can see how we're hovering around Baron. I'm going to pink ward the Baron pit to make sure that we clear out the vision around Baron. Using my W over the wall to make sure they don't have any vision there as well. And our main priority now is to try and play around our vision that we have and try and make picks. Just like that. My team just took the words right out of my mouth. Really, really nice play here. This is where I start to play a bit too aggressive and I start to go a bit too far forward. I actually used the Veil enchant there to save the Ari, so I'll take it, I guess. But I stepped up way too far. I didn't think the Gragas would go all the way behind and try and flank me, but I was able to use my Veil enchant to stop the Ari from getting knocked back, so I'll take that as a win. A worthy sacrifice support for my team to get another kill instead, which is fine. It was probably just a misplay on my part, stepping up too far and following the Ari, but in general, it's not that bad. Baron buff in hands. As I mentioned, when 3 waves of super minions come in, it's very, very difficult to try and come back from that. And there is a victory. But hopefully you learned a thing or two with what I'm talking about with playing Lulu more aggressively, especially during that laning phase as well. Looking to try and walk up with Lulu, taking trades with your auto attacks, shielding yourself instead of your AD carry is such a huge thing. Like I mentioned, that people just don't do. They don't like to do it aggressively. You're not really going to see much in terms of stats here. I mean, Fun to Life was able to heal quite a lot, 1,700. Bone plating, obviously quite nice as well. The Revitalize obviously becoming very, very handy later on with the shielding and healing. You can see most of the time your area is mainly used for your shielding. It's not really used for damage, but a little bit of damage knocked in there as well with my first ability is really, really nice in general. Damage overall, Tristana didn't really do too much. In my opinion, Tristana could have played a lot more aggressive in this game. There are a lot of times where Tristana can just jump forward, play super aggressive because I'm Lulu. I can give him ulti. I can give him, you know, E. I can polymorph someone with W. So I think Tristana could have played a lot more aggressive. There was a couple of times where Tristana could have jumped in and played a lot more aggressive. But in general, we was able to get the bot lane tower very, very early on, thanks to Talon roam and Talon's aggression. We then rotated that into the mid lane as soon as we took that bot lane tower. The mid lane then, you know, opens up the map. We take tier 1 and tier 2 tower in the mid lane. Us opening map there allows us to make some really, really big plays with like Ari charm, Talon jumping over walls and everything like that as well. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this rundown of this gameplay. Hopefully you enjoyed this type of content. If you do, as I mentioned, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this playstyle with Lulu. Let me know how you play Lulu in the comments as well. And take care, and I'll see you all in the next Wilder video. Peace.